And we're back with part 14 of the fan casting series.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no...
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Pitch This here on the MrEliMac YouTube channel. I'm your host, MrEliMac, and today I'm going to be hopping into the 14th part of this fan casting series as we continue to delve into Phase 4 of What If the MCU was the DCCU. And for this episode, we're going to be focusing on Elseworlds, which is the What If analog, and Blue Beetle and the Ancient Scarab, the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings analog. And yeah, those two are going to be the focus. For the Elseworlds, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of characters that we've already met, but just the alternate universe version of them. But also I'm going to be giving just a little bit more detail of sort of like what their episode is going to be focusing on, because that's sort of what If is. It's each episode is different, and each episode is very much dedicated to a different story. And so for this one, I wanted to just talk about a little bit more about these characters, but I'm gonna try not to go too in-depth with them since this is just a fan casting video and I don't want to go super crazy with the length of this video. But with all that admin out of the way, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you can be up to date with all the videos I have here on the channel. Also, hit the notification bell. That way you can be notified whenever a new video like this comes your way. So first off, let's go into Elseworlds, the animated show where we're going to be seeing a lot of returning characters. And for the first cast member, I'm going to be focusing on the first episode, which is going to be dedicated to Lois Lane, aka Superwoman, who in this universe, she's the one that was born on Krypton, and she was raised by Sam Lane and all of them, and is, you know, the Superman of this universe. And of course, Rachel McAdams is going to be returning to play Lois Lane, being the voice of Lois Lane. And again, this story is very much just, what if Lois Lane was Superman? And that's very much the simple story of it. She's the Kryptonian. Instead of it being Kal-El, it was Lois L or Lo-El or whatever they want to go, or Lo Jor-El or whatever sort of idea you want to go with that. And it's sort of seeing the idea of the first movie becoming just the idea of Lois as Superwoman instead of Clark Kent, and Clark Kent's more of the Lois Lane character. And yeah, that's sort of the first episode of Elseworlds. Moving on over to the second episode, and the next fan casting is very much what if basically Virgil Hawkins was Green Lantern. And Virgil Hawkins is the character that, you know, is Static Shock. Shamik Moore would return to be the voice, and the Big Bang, or the Bang Babies, would happen. And then as he is saving people, that is when he gets the Green Lantern ring. And with the powers of Static Shock, he is also the Green Lantern, and that's sort of the thing that would make him the Green Lantern of Earth. And that's sort of the way that story would go. So yeah, Virgil Hawkins, Shamik Moore, Green Lantern, yeah, that's sort of what that episode would be. The third episode would be John Jones, Martian Manhunter, played by Idris Elba, trying to assemble the Justice League, but all of the major members of the Justice League are being killed by this mysterious force. And this would very much be the idea of Lex Luthor just striking sooner and not waiting. And so sort of just Martian Manhunter again trying to assemble the team of the Justice League, but just Lex Luthor getting everyone faster, and we would just see Martian Manhunter fighting Lex Luthor. It would very much be just Martian Manhunter is now the main hero of this universe, and we get new members of the Justice League and different heroes that would exist. Maybe we would get Robin getting to be the main hero in Gotham a lot sooner than he would in that universe. Maybe we would get other characters, like maybe Steel would be introduced sooner. But yeah, that would sort of be the idea of that episode. Again, a lot of these episodes are very much pastiches of what If did, and just new main characters. For the next one, Khalid Nassour, played by Mina Masood, and instead of him going into becoming Dr. Fate and becoming a Lord of Order, instead he becomes Dr. Chaos and becomes a Lord of Chaos. However, there's still a part of him that is sympathetic towards order and all that and being good, but this would just be a universe where instead of being a good person, he fell down the dark path, and through the realm of chaos is trying to get the people in his life to love him more, and sort of through that Naboo is corrupted, and that is what's causing him to be corrupted. And so yeah, that would be that episode. Next up is Billy Batson, aka Captain Thunder. I'm giving him the Captain Thunder title in this one. He's not Shazam, he's Captain Thunder. And the reason why, oh, and Jared S. Gilmore returning to reprise his role as Billy Batson, John Krasinski playing Captain Thunder, and the reason why is because in the thumbnail I had the Red Rain story, like the if Batman became a vampire. In this one, this is sort of the Marvel Zombies episode, but instead of Marvel Zombies, it's DC vampires, and so this would just be that version of the Earth, and sort of Billy Batson is one of the few heroes that hasn't been converted into vampirism, and he is sort of the lead hero in all this, trying to defeat different characters who have become vampires, like Batman and Superman and all these other characters that have went to vampirism, and that's sort of the story that would go into this. So just instead of the Marvel Zombies universe, it would be the DC Vampires universe, with Batman sort of being the lead antagonist, and maybe Dracula hops in there as well, because that's sort of how it happened. Next up would be the Thomas Elliot Hush episode, with Jeremy Renner making a return after last being seen in Batman 3. And in this universe, it's basically what if when Hush did his original plan to kill both of his parents, it actually worked. He did kill both of his parents. He got his trust fund, but instead of just wasting and letting it all go to waste, he actually gets a little bit of anger in his heart, and he basically becomes the Batman character. But instead of wanting to do justice, he does a little bit more viciousness, sort of like how in the dark multiverse, how Hush became Batman for a little bit. Like, it's sort of that story, and his main intent is killing Bruce Wayne, because in this universe, Bruce Wayne's parents didn't die, and so he would go after Bruce Wayne and try to kill Bruce Wayne for the happiness that he has, because that's something he never had. And that would sort of be the direction that I would go for this. Next up is Diana, Wonder Woman, being reprised by Emily Blunt. And in this universe is more based off of the DC Bombshells universe. And that's sort of the direction that we would go for the story of Emily Blunt, how it's sort of set in the 1940s, and she's a hero of the 40s, and that's sort of the direction we would go for that story, and her fighting off against Nazis and doing all that stuff, and that's the direction for that story. Next up is Artemis of Bonham Maidal, who reprised by Rachel Nichols, and her character in this would just appear in this one in just 2 episodes, very much serving the Gamora role that was in season 1 of What If, and then we would flesh out her story in season 2 of What If, and that would sort of be the direction that we would go for her character. Next up is Brainiac, played by Ray Fiennes, returning to the role, and it would sort of be a universe of if he actually won, if he was able to get Metropolis to be inside a bottled city and destroy Earth, and sort of his continuing conquest, and him starting to see the fabrics of reality, starting to see the person that is monitoring the situation and trying to take over the multiverse himself early on. And that's sort of the direction we would go. Again, sort of like how the Infinite Ultron went. And yeah, that would sort of be the direction for Brainiac. And for the sort of main character of the show, it would be the Monitor. And for the Monitor, I cast Lawrence Fishburne. And because I love Lawrence Fishburne so much, I think he has a commanding voice and a commanding presence to himself. And I think having him play the Monitor would be such great foreshadowing of what would happen in the future, and having him play a character to where he is going to be monitoring all these different multiverses that is happening, and just trying to, it's sort of early on, this is sort of getting hints of, oh, this is something small that's happening right now, but grander schemes, more stuff will be happening in the future that would cause him to get ready to do this again. And just the way that Brainiac is happening in this season is just a foreshadowing of what's to come for the future. And again, I think Lawrence Fishburne is a great actor. I think he has a commanding presence to him. Just look at him in The Matrix and in just any film that he's in. He carries himself with a presence, a commanding presence, and I think that you need that commanding presence for the Monitor, and I think he would do great in this role as the Monitor. So Lawrence Fishburne is the Monitor. And again, I was able to zoom through all those different episodes of the Elseworlds. Again, just giving you the basic necessities that you need for each of those episodes. And yeah, we're going to be moving on over to the next film, which is Blue Beetle and the Ancient Scarab. Again, this is the Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings analog, where we're going to be learning more about the culture, the Latino culture. And also, we're going to be hopping into learning more about this Ancient Scarab, and because that's sort of what I wanted to put forward, where it's just, this scarab is believed to be ancient because of the person that discovered it a long time ago, Dan Garrett. He wouldn't make an appearance, he would just be referenced, like Dan Garrett discovered this scarab a long time ago, but it never actually awakened, and now we've gotten to the point where it has awakened, and sort of the main antagonist has always done research on this scarab, and once they discover that the scarab has awakened, they want to get the scarab for themselves. And so let's go into the cast. And so for the main character of Jaime Reyes, aka Blue Beetle, because Jaime Reyes would be the main character of the film, I cast Jolo Maridueña. And because he played Blue Beetle in the most recent Blue Beetle film, I was like, he was great in it. Even like long before that movie was even announced, I was automatically casting Jolo Maridueña as Blue Beetle because I thought he was perfect. And so when all of that came together, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. So I'm not changing my casting. Jolo Maridueña is perfect for Jaime Reyes. He's proven it, and yeah, I think he's great. So Jolo Maridueña is Blue Beetle. Next up is Brenda Del Vecchio, who is the main love interest of Jaime Reyes. And for Brenda, I cast Isabella Merced. Isabella is an actress that has appeared in Dora the Explorer, the Dora the Explorer movie, and she's appeared in other stuff. She's also appeared in Madame Web, but we're gonna forget that movie exists. And I think that she's a really great actress. I think she's done a really great job with a lot of the roles that she has been in, and I think she has done a really great job like fleshing herself out more as an actress. She's about to play Hawk Girl in Superman, and I almost called it Superman Legacy. And so she was cast in that role for a reason. So I think she's going to have a higher profile after Superman, and I think that she would be great for the role of Brenda Del Vecchio. So Isabel Merced is Brenda Del Vecchio. Next up is Paco Testas, and for Paco, I cast Rico Rodriguez, and I really enjoy him in Modern Family. I thought he did a really great job in that show, and because of that, I really thought he would do really great as sort of playing the best friend to Jaime and sort of playing the sort of comedic character in this film. I know in the comics that's not really the direction for Paco, but I really wanted to change the direction because sort of the direction they go with him in the New 52, I didn't want to go in that direction. I don't like when storylines occasionally do that. Maybe early on I didn't mind it, which is like the friend turned main antagonist. I'm not a big fan of that anymore, hence why I'm one of the people that's like, I don't want to see Ned become the Hobgoblin to Peter's Spider-Man. I don't want to see that because we've seen that a lot with just Harry Osborn turning into the Green Goblin. I just don't want to see that, and so I'm not putting that forward here. So I think Rico would do a really great job again with the comedic elements that he has been able to deliver in Modern Family, and I think he would just be great as a best friend. So Rico Rodriguez as Paco Testas. Next up is Alberto Reyes, the father of Jaime Reyes, and for Alberto Reyes, I cast Michael Pena. Michael Pena was an actor I wanted to cast early on, but I decided to hold him off because I thought that he would do a really great job as a father figure, and I think having Michael Pena play a father figure to a superhero could do really great. I think he's an amazing actor. I think he does play father figures and mentor roles very well, and I think he would do great in this role. So Michael Pena is Alberto Reyes. Next up is Bianca Reyes, the mother of Jaime Reyes. And for Bianca Reyes, I cast Valerie Cruz. Valerie Cruz has done a lot of TV, but I do see her as a character that could play into a motherly figure. Also, I wouldn't be shocked to portray her as a mom who is not afraid to get her hands dirty, because through instances like this, I think she would do a really great job. So Valerie Cruz is Bianca Reyes. Next up is Milagro Reyes, the sister to Jaime. And for Milagro Reyes, I cast Ariana Greenblatt. And recently, she's been doing a lot of great things with Barbie. She was young Ahsoka Tano. She even played young Gamora in Avengers Infinity War. And I think she's very much done a lot of great things. She's recently been able to show a lot of range with a lot of the characters she's played. And I really do believe that she is on the rise as an actress. I'm looking forward to a lot of the stuff she is going to be in the future. And I do think that she could do a really great job playing a younger sister to Jaime Reyes, especially if you portray her character as the sarcastic character, the sarcastic sister. I think she would do a really great job at that. So Ariana Greenblatt as Milagro Reyes. Next up is Ted Kord. I really wanted to put Ted Kord in this because I would see the Scarab being in the hands of Kord Industries, and I really wanted to have Ted Kord in this film because I really missed Ted Kord being in the first Blue Beetle, and I wanted him to be a character that was influential to the story, like physically there. And especially I wanted to have the fact that Ted Kord was a failed superhero, someone that tried to do superheroics but didn't actually get the exposure that all the other heroes did. And so that's sort of what the direction I wanted to go with. And for Ted Kord, I cast Jason Sudeikis. Now that was an actor, Jason Sudeikis was an actor that the director of the original Blue Beetle movie really wanted to put as Ted Kord if they got sequels. I'm really hoping they do get sequels, but I think Jason Sudeikis would do a great job as Ted Kord. I mean, you see him in Ted Lasso and playing that sympathetic character. I think Jason Sudeikis could do a really great job as Ted Kord, especially playing another more, again, being able to lean to the comedy side, but also being an earnest character, someone that is trying to do what is right for Jaime, not someone that's trying to use him, actually someone trying to help him. And who knows, maybe we would even get to see Ted Kord, Jason Sudeikis, be able to go into those action elements again, going over to say like, oh yeah, I tried to do the superhero thing, I wasn't that successful, but I'm gonna try it again now because you're someone that looks like you may need some help. So yeah, I think Jason Sudeikis could do a really great job as Ted Kord. So Jason Sudeikis is Ted Kord. Now I'm going to be going over to some of the antagonistic characters. And the first one is Guillermo Barrera, aka Brutale, and I cast Luis Moncada. He is one of the characters that appears, he's an actor that appears in Breaking Bad. He's one of sort of the henchman characters. He's one of the twins, actually. And I very much thought that when I saw him in Breaking Bad and in Better Call Saul, I thought he really did a great job playing this sort of mercenary, like henchman type character. And Brutale is someone that needs to be this menacing figure, at least in this one. And I think that Luis could do a really great job bringing this menacing figure just by looking at you. And I think that he could do a really great job being someone that can be a physical threat to Jaime. And also I think that Luis Moncada can do great. He can carry the presence of someone that's like, oh, we don't want to mess with this guy, but we have to because he's one of the bad guys that we have to fight. So yeah, I think he would do a great job. So Luis Moncada as Guillermo Barrera, aka Brutale. And now it's time for the main antagonist of the film, which is Amparo Cardenas, aka La Dama, and that I cast as Penelope Cruz. I'm sorry for a lot of the pausing. I just wanted to make sure I got everything correct. But Penelope Cruz is an actress I love so much. She's appeared in so many things. She has blown it out of the water multiple times. She's an Academy Award nominated actress. And I think Penelope Cruz could do a really great job playing this antagonistic character. And also someone that wants the Scarab, that wants to take the Scarab and use the power of the Scarab for herself. And especially someone that we could use as a, hey, here's more information about the Scarab, someone that has also been doing a lot of research, the ancient history of the Scarab, and maybe she could be the one that discovered that it's actually alien technology before Ted Kord or any of the other characters. And I just think that Penelope Cruz could do a really great job playing this menacing figure as like, no, I'm in charge of a mafia organization, and I can very much just terrify you just by looking at you. And I think Penelope Cruz can carry that weight of that type of character for her. So Penelope Cruz as La Dama. And that is it for this video. Those are the two things, Elseworlds and Blue Beetle and the Ancient Scarab. Next week, I'm going to be looking at New Gods and Green Arrow. The two next projects are New Gods and Green Arrow, and that's going to be in next week's video. But again, thank you all so much for, again, continuing to watch this series. I know that you're probably ready for me to stop talking about the fan cast and go back to actually pitching stories, and trust me, when this all gets done, I will be going straight back to that, because I'm also looking forward. It's just I dedicated myself to this series, so yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that. But again, thank you all so much for watching this. What were your thoughts on the fan castings that I did here? Did you like them? Did you hate them? Were you indifferent to them? Whatever your thoughts, post them in the comments down below. And again, also don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. That way you could be up to date with all the videos I have here on the channel. Also hit the notification bell, that way you can be notified whenever a new video like this comes your way. But until then, I've been Mr. EliMac, you've been the audience, and hope you all have a great rest of the day.